Call Drew Smith. Mr Smith, 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer, and for your own words in opening time for reflection this afternoon. Can I begin, perhaps unusually, but not unprecedented, and I hope not for the last time, by agreeing with Annabel Ewing, because I think it is a privilege for all of us to take part in this debate today, just as it has been a privilege to be part of the historic discussions we've had in this chamber, and indeed outside of this chamber, over the past 2 or so, or perhaps 3 years. And the votes now, all of them, are counted and the result is known. The people have had their say. And before this afternoon's debate began, one might have asked what was there for politicians to add when the people have spoken so decisively. Unsurprisingly, Presiding Officer, we have managed to fill the time, but beyond our anecdotes from the campaign trail, our next task will be to meet the hopes of those that we represent. When we last met, members on this side were clear that whatever the result, we would of course accept it. There was much talk about self-determination, and it was pointed out then that self-determination would be the result, whatever the outcome of last week's vote. And so it is. The people of Scotland have, by a margin of 10 points, exercised their right to self-determination in favour of union with the rest of Britain and Northern Ireland. I appreciate that there are those in this country, and most obviously in this chamber, who are grieving as a result of their side losing this argument with the people of Scotland. Indeed, in the public debates I took part in over the last few weeks, certainly.
Sandra White.
I thank the member for taking the intervention, and I absolutely agree with you in regard and respecting the will of the people. Can I also ask Drew Smith, will he respect the will of the people of Glasgow, who overwhelmingly voted yes?
Drew Smith.
Well, of course, the question that was asked was a question of national self-determination, is what I would say to Sandra White, and I believe it was national self-determination that Sandra White has campaigned for, so I hope we will respect that. Because indeed, in the public debates I took part in over the last few weeks, I said at the vote, if it had been for breaking up the United Kingdom, I would accept it, but I would also deeply regret it. So I'm happy that the positive case for partnership has won out over the case for independence. And that means that while I accept that the grief, and indeed I have to say, unfortunately, Presiding Officer, this afternoon, the bitterness that we've heard from Christine Graham and Christina McKelvey is genuine grief, and I respect that, but I also say we cannot allow grief to be transformed yet again into grievance. The vote was a decisive endorsement of our place in the United Kingdom and of this Parliament's permanent place in the governance of that kingdom. We argued that Scotland could vote for the best of both worlds last Thursday, and that is what they did. A strong Scottish Parliament within the UK, not in opposition to it. That is now the duty of all of us in this place, in this generation, who have determined our future. This Parliament has come of age, and now it will be strengthened. Those who continue to believe that nationhood can only be demonstrated by statehood may see more powers as some kind of consolation in their defeat. But I don't believe that devolution is a consolation prize. It is a prize worth taking on its own terms. This Parliament has always had real power, even if it has not always had the unity of national purpose to exercise it. Big decisions lie ahead in the days, and we are now agreed, in the years to come. The first decision facing all of us is whether we have the courage to accept the result and to choose to make this place work in the way the campaigners and leaders who founded it wished it to do. The referendum campaign had good and bad points. We've heard that this afternoon. But it is a truth acknowledged by us all that the energy and ideas that have dominated the last period were not just about which country we will be, but what kind of country we choose to be. And I often felt that many on the yes side were asking the right questions about our politics and our future, but I was never convinced that their answer was the right one. And the people of Scotland have come to that decision for themselves too. These questions of social justice, of democracy, were the same ones which led to this Parliament's creation at the end of the last century. They must now lead our approach to the future of devolution, which is, as others have said, the settled will of the Scottish people. In 2 referendums over my lifetime, the people of Scotland have affirmed the place of this Parliament, and now the people of Scotland have affirmed the place of Scotland within a union with our closest neighbours and friends. And it falls to us to reach out to one another, whether we are cheered by the result or depressed by it, to pick up the baton which campaigners on all sides and which the people of Scotland have carried to the final result. The result of this vote is more than a rumour. It is the settled will of the Scottish people. The nation as a whole has determined it. And no one in this place or elsewhere has the right to ignore that. On this side, we relish the task that lies ahead of us as members of a great and proud Labour movement to reconnect and to articulate the concerns of real people in this Parliament, just as you asked all members to do, Presiding Officer, to do the job on our side that Labour has always strived to do, to rebalance power in our society in favour of people. Whether or not the hand of reconciliation is accepted by the other side, there can be no doubt that it has been extended today. What happens next will be the ultimate test of positivity. I hope that those who have lost their argument have the courage to accept that hand in the spirit in which it is offered. No one side of this binary debate has demonstrated that they have all the answers, and we are now a country blessed with a national ambition for change. Whether on the question of powers or on the purpose for which they are exercised, or on the course that the people have set, partnership, not partisanship. Let us have the ambition and the determination to deliver the better Scotland, the better Britain that our people have instructed us to bring about. And just finally, Presiding Officer, since you've generously given me the time, one example I used in the campaign was the 1 million children lifted out of poverty by the last Labour government. 800,000 across the UK, 200,000 here in Scotland. I was a no voter because I am just as proud of that achievement, of that change in the rest of the UK as I am of any change we have made here in Scotland. That's the bigger idea and the ideal that people voted no for on Thursday last week, Presiding Officer, to make change here and to be part of change with all of our neighbours and friends in our United Kingdom.